Hello, Empathic Healers. Question for the day, our journal prompt. How do you release negativity? The big one had some really good responses in the group about how to release negativity. Grab your journal. Are you ready to dig? See what's going on inside of ourselves, right? Journal with me today. And welcome to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge. My apologies, it is terribly windy outside. It's fine, it just surprised me. Again, my name is Robin Knott, and I am your host of Energy Healing TV and podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, and the founder of the EnergyHealingSchool.com. If you'd like to know more about me, feel free to check out my About page. Let's dig in. So remember why we do the journaling process. A couple of reasons. If you've read my description or if you've heard me talk a little bit, you might have heard me say a couple times before. I don't say it every time or haven't yet. It is my deepest belief, if we loved ourselves enough, suicide wouldn't be a thing. That's a topic very close to my heart. Avoiding it, obviously. But that's part of the reason of showing up and doing this journal, right? As well as patterns of codependency. I kind of want to do a whole video on codependency, and I might actually just to do some debunking and clearing some air and what they say, calling out the elephant in the room kind of thing, because I think we all carry some patterns as empathic healers. No blame, shame, and guilt, but let's release ourselves from some of that, right? We can change some of that. So showing up and doing this journal each day is a way that you can take care of yourself, right? We all need it. Life likes to life, and our humanness, it's not always fun. Excuse me, it could be a lot to manage, a lot to handle, a lot to deal with. Journaling gives us an opportunity to check in with ourselves, to be aware, assess our energy, and get into alignment with the source of unconditional love, right? Doesn't mean we have to leap some bounds and jump from A to B and go from depression or a struggle or a hiccup or a contrast or whatever word you choose to use, all the way to perfect, amazing in a heartbeat. But it does mean we don't want to get stuck, right? We don't want to get stuck. Again, self-love, self-awareness, avoiding whether you think, maybe you've never had a suicidal thought before. That's amazing. I'm glad. I hope you never do. But none of us, it doesn't discriminate, right? So as long as we stay on top of it and we take care of ourselves, we don't really have to worry as much about that. So in the journal, let me refocus. Today, the self-care as an acronym, the letter R is for receiving. And in my acronym of Best You, the letter U is for unconditional love. So I love how they go hand in hand. The idea of receiving unconditional love, right? So again, add the energy of the crown chakra on top of the head. We're receiving from God, source, creator. I just tend to say the source of unconditional love through our crown chakra, all the way through, right? All the way through our being, our body. I just got beautiful little goosebumps chills as I did that. Feeling some of that unconditional love, right? From God, source, creator, that we all are, we deserve, allowing ourselves to receive it. That can be a key sometimes as we block it, right? We start that blame, shame, and guilt or beat ourselves up, and then we don't receive that unconditional love from source. So then that negativity, how does that play a role? Well, how do you release negativity if you also beat yourself up, right? So there's many ways to release negativity, and I left that very vague. So you can go wherever your mind takes you in that journal, allow it. Just allow it to flow. It could be other people, different relationships with other people, with work, with family, with friends, with significant others, whoever it may be. It could be your environment, right? Sometimes just the energy in the environment feels heavy and it needs clearing. It could also be right here, right? So how do you release the negativity that you've accumulated over a lifetime of internalized difficult experiences? So I don't want to lead you too far. I want you to journal on your own in that, but ask yourself some of those questions. Just sit with it and see what pops up. So again, in our journaling process, write down the question, how do you release negativity? And then whatever comes into mind, here, we're trying to get my mouth again. Whatever comes into mind, start writing that out, right? Even if it seems completely has nothing to do with the topic, just keep writing. It's just the mind's way of getting there. Because some things the mind likes to hide and block, right? Or we just don't want to see them. We don't want to address them. And then there's other things where it's like hamster wheel. It just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. And some of the patterns just continue, the cycles, and we need to interrupt that. So this helps the mind slow down by writing in the journal. Again, I've shared that my hand cannot keep up with my mind. Cannot write that fast. So just allow yourself to write. You can pause if you need to. Try not to get distracted, like pause to listen. So you're asking yourself the question as if you were asking someone else. How do you release negativity? And then wait and listen within and see what comes up, right? So let me see. Let me check my journal to see what else is in there. Healthy boundaries came up. Sometimes releasing negativity is noticing where we need to set healthy boundaries, right? If we don't set healthy boundaries, if we don't interrupt a cycle, a pattern, then it's just going to continue. So it's kind of like walking in a pile of mud over and over and over again and expecting to clear out the energy or expecting to keep my feet clean, right? When I'm walking literally in a mud pile. So sometimes that happens with our relationships or in our environments. Kind of we know what to expect. Now, sometimes there's ways that we can prepare, right? And we take care of ourselves because depending on your values and priorities within those values, because we have many, side note, values. I want to bring this up. Hopefully I remember. Depending on where we lay those priorities and values, we still may choose to put ourselves in situations where the energy is heavy and negative, right? I've shared that, family first is a strong value. Not everyone in the family always has the same ideas of what it means to have the value of family first, right? I'm saying they don't have the same value, just what does it look like? Or maybe it sits differently on the list of priorities. But to be fair, some of us, empathic healers, right? Let's call it out, have not made ourselves a priority. We have not made our own well being a priority, right? So then we show up putting our own well being. I don't necessarily mean like all your wants forever. You should just, selfishly be. I know there's different ideas about that. That's my value, to not be in that selfish mode of just me, 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 and screw the world. It's not what I'm saying. But your well-being, to have love for you, we can be humble in that as well, right? We quote unquote make sacrifices, the human ego does make certain sacrifices in our lifetimes because of our values and our priorities of those values. So if you want to do a little activity, this is what popped up and I wanted to make that mental note about. Ask yourself, add to your journal maybe, think about what are your values. So a place I used to work, this was one of the activities, was you got 10 index cards. So you could do it with index cards if you wish, or pieces of paper or whatever you choose, or just write them down in order. Excuse me, but write down 10 of your top 10 values. Top 10. It can be tricky once you start writing. You're like, oh, but this one's really, really close to this one, and this one's really, really close to this one. Top 10 values. Then take those top 10 values and put them in order of priority. It increases your self-awareness as well, right? It's very eye-opening. So write down your top 10 values and then put them in order. Most important, top priority first, least important. I'm not saying it's unimportant, just how you see like least important of those 10. And then journal. I'm doing this because my journal's on the app. Journal on what comes up in that experience. Did you find that you struggled with or got caught up with a couple of them? Like there's these two values and it's kind of a tie. Or did you find like, oh my goodness? Because then the other thing is, does our idea, what we think is our top value or top priority, is that how we act? Or is that just what we think? Because it doesn't always match. And again, no blame, shame, and guilt. It's just all about awareness, right? I will leave you with that because that's a lot. And I'm noting this because that will come in again. I know it will. Let me invite you again, if you have not already signed up for the Empathic Healers Masterclass, a step-by-step guide to set boundaries and protect your energy. Very fitting for today's topic, right? Please do that. If you would like the link, I'm trying to do this differently because links in the description are going to change. So if you are interested, check the comments. If it's not in the comments, note it, like let me know that you are interested, and then I will post it in the reply comment. How's that? If you don't see it, ask for it and I will get it to you. Absolutely. Homework, as always, check in with yourself, right? Journal, add to the journal experience, increase your awareness even more, and do that activity where you list your top 10 values and put them in order. If you're not, assess your energy. If you're not already in alignment with the source of unconditional love, what is one action step? And just doing this again is an action step to getting closer, more in alignment with the source of unconditional love. Checking in with yourself, increasing your awareness, journaling, holding space for yourself, feeling it to heal it are all absolutely action steps, right? To get more in alignment with the source of unconditional love. Then, of course, meet me back here for days, you guys, days at time. Root chakra energy. So self-care, self-awareness, and best you beliefs, right? So we will talk about that next. I will see you soon. Take good care. So much love. And of course, as always, I love seeing the comments. I love seeing you guys engage in this process, the journaling process. If you're comfortable, drop them in the comments. Share what comes up for you. Take good care. See you soon.